everyone, this is Whitney, and welcome back to an episode of Spastic Chatter. If you're new here, Spastic Chatter is a platform meant to feature those in the Cerebral Palsy community, and I get together with individuals with CP, like myself, to have an uncensored chat, if you will, about what it's like living with this type of disability. And I took a little break, but I am back today with Suzy. And she wrote in wanting to be on an episode of Spastic Chatter, and it got my gears going to wanting to record again. And she is a college student and a writer, so I'm excited to hear more about her life and hear more about her. So, Suzy, do you want to introduce yourself, and then we'll get on to the conversation?
Yes, I will. Thank you, Whitney. I'm excited to be with you today. Hi, everybody. My name is Suzy Royal, and I am 22 years old, and I have spastic quadriplegic dysplasia cerebral palsy, which the way I like to think of it is it's kind of my arms, legs, and brain don't really see eye to eye. And I have a twin sister. We were born at 25 weeks gestation. So pretty early. And I suffered a grade 3 brain hemorrhage soon after we were born. And I was diagnosed at about 3 months, I think. So pretty soon thereafter, we spent a lot of time in the hospital. But after I had a lot of therapy growing up. I started very early on, and I've had fantastic therapists who have helped me get where I am today.
Awesome. Yeah, I can kind of relate with you on a lot of things. Like I have spastic quadriplegic cerebral palsy as well, and I'm also a twin. I wasn't breathing when I was born, so I like to make a joke and say that my twin stole all the oxygen. But that's just my humor, and
that's hilarious.
And I can relate to the physical therapy or the therapy aspect, because a lot of my therapists have became like family, so I can definitely relate to that. And I'm gonna start asking you questions. Suzy, you're a senior in college. What has your education journey been like? Because I know that it might be different than like the quote unquote normal. So
right. But what is normal anyway, right?
Yeah.
I have been really blessed that my education journey, for the most part, has been completely mainstream. Although I will say my support really started in elementary school, where I had a dedicated parapro, and for about 3rd through 5th grade, it was my elementary school. It was downstairs, and there was a pretty hefty flight of steps, so that was interesting navigating. But there was elementary school was significant for me because my mom really she really stepped into the took on that advocating role, as most parents do at that age. But I think, even though I didn't really know it at the time, I think it really did help set me up for self-advocacy as early as middle school, because I also had a case manager at the time, and that we started fostering that connection, and we really started working on my self-advocacy in middle school. But I will say, one kind of really sweet experience I had in elementary school, I used a walker for up until, I think, at least fourth grade. By fifth grade, I think I was on a cane. But in the second grade, there was a boy in another class that I started spending recess with, and he didn't see the walker. And honestly, like, we were so close that I joked that he was my first and only boyfriend. So, Tristan, if you happen to see this, I hope you're happy wherever you are now. So anyway, yeah, he was just a really, really sweet kid, and I brought that up a lot recently. I don't know why. I actually wrote about that particular situation for a creative writing exercise. So just kind of, I think that was my first real tangible memory of having CP. When I got into middle school, I was, more comfortable with things, and that's where the self-advocacy I really started working on that with my case manager. And I really got kind of more comfortable advocating for myself. And I almost completely self-advocate for myself at this point, which has become extremely helpful in college and requesting accommodations for classes and just letting my professors know about stuff. So I've had a good foundation for self-advocacy.
That's very cool. I think it has just going off of what you said and kind of bringing my life into me as an example. Also, I think the self-advocacy has a lot to do with like your environment, like you said, that like you had a friend that like made you comfortable, and like your parents instill that foundation for you. Like I can kind of relate. Like growing up, I was never like up until like high school, I was never seen like as like Whitney in the like the girl in the wheelchair per se. I was just Whitney, and then I all my friends like didn't treat me any different, and then I actually moved from junior high to like high school. I moved, so I was the new girl, but I was the only student that was mainstreamed in a wheelchair. So I had that extra thing to me. So I was very like shy and quiet in high school, because of that, because like it was like a new territory for me, and like people seemed to see my disability before they like got to know me, if that makes sense. So I can definitely I want to say I can see similarities between our stories, and like the self-advocacy thing that you keep touching on, like that is so important, to be your own self advocate. And I love how you said that it started way back way back when you were younger. That's the same thing for me, and like, and especially in your college years, that is so important that you are out there. You self-advocate for yourself, and like, I, I can't. College is what gave me like the confidence to be like just me, like you've thought like I want to say that you flourish in college. Like you go to college and you come out a whole new person per se, or at least I did. Um,
I'm really starting to kind of realize the truth of that statement, especially in my chosen major. I'm an English major and a creative writing minor, and this semester I'm not loaded down. My course load is relatively light compared to previous semesters, but I am currently suffering from burnout. And this is another kind of important aspect. I realized that I've recently realized that I've poured so much of myself into my academic writing over the past almost 4 years, that I'm just kind of like brain shutting down. So, and specifically, I'm in kind of doing a screenwriting track for my creative writing classes. So last semester, I wrote my first full-length screenplay, and I'm kind of having to do it again this semester. So I'm just having to learn to recognize and navigate burnout. And one of the things I'm doing that's been a very much needed support system is I'm utilizing my school's alumni mentorship program as a mentee.
That's awesome. I have a question that I want to ask. It's kind of straight away from the questions I sent you, but I'm just curious. Have you when you're talking about burnout and stuff, like when I was in college, I would get burnout and stuff. Have you kind of then that's when I would like turn off the like educational side, like work side, and focus more on the social side. I don't know if you, because I lived on campus during college. Have you like joined any clubs in college, or like what is?
That's a great question. I do not live on campus. I actually live at home because transportation is a kind of an issue for me. I don't drive, and I don't really want to. But in terms of like clubs and an overall involvement, one thing that I've been doing for 2 semesters now, and I'm going to do it until I graduate, is I am a peer tutor. And that has been good for me. I enjoy what I like to call kind of the professional socialization aspect of it. I work Thursdays throughout the semester from like noon to 5, tutoring my fellow students I cover a bunch of English classes. I think I might have one of the bigger, at least, well, let's see. I'm one of 3 students who tutors on the campus that's located in my hometown. And I think out of the 3 of us, I think I've got the biggest course load. So I offer a bunch of English classes, a couple history classes, music appreciation, just because I enjoy it. because I enjoyed taking those classes. And I also do the first 2 elementary French classes because I'm also working on finishing up my French classes.
Awesome. That's very cool. So you said that you're majoring in, you're a writer, and like that you're majoring in like writing per se. What do you like to write, and what's your biggest inspiration in your writing?
I like, I do next to no personal writing, but I really, I have, even in my academic writing, I enjoy, specifically with my screenwriting, I enjoy creating characters and I enjoy creating dialogue like many writers do. But my biggest inspiration comes from, I am an 80s kid by way of Gen Z. I am all over 80s pop culture, especially music. So it's really like that's something that comes through kind of subconsciously, especially in my screenwriting. I love it.
That's very cool. That's very cool. And then I wanted to tie in because October is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And how does this month resonate with you, and what does your employment history look like as a disabled individual?
That is actually very interesting. I was not aware that this month is National Disability Employment Month, so that's very interesting. My employment history is mainly unpaid, kind of volunteer based, with the exception of obviously my current peer tutor position that is paid. I have worked with a kind of a facet of my local humane society. They have a shelter, a no-kill shelter that they work with, that it's what I like to call an overflow shelter. They take kind of the overflow cats, dogs, and I've helped them socialize these animals and prepare them for adoption or fostering. And I've been doing that on and off since about 3 years ago. I really should I should stop by. I haven't been by in a long time, what with school and everything, but I love doing it. And I really appreciate it.
That's awesome.
So I haven't, peer tutoring is really the first paid position I've held, just because I've kind of school has been my number one priority for a long time.
And you're still young, so you're in college to get your degree, to get a job, essentially. So, but yeah, that's very cool.
As a matter of fact, I'm so comfortable with peer tutoring and I like it so much that I am very interested in doing it freelance once I graduate.
Awesome. Wow.
And I really think, and that's another thing, I've recognized fairly recently that having a freelance position will be the most comfortable for me, because I appreciate I'm sure we all do. I really appreciate flexibility, and I think having a freelance position will really allow me to kind of dive into some other areas of just like hobbies that I really want to kind of dive into and start exploring, because one of the, I don't want to say one of the negative stereotypes of being an English major is, well, I cannot tell you the number of times I've had when I tell people who don't know me very well that I'm an English major, guess what the number one response is?
I don't know. Tell me.
So, you want to be a teacher?
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
And then I say very quickly, no, I really am more into the writing side of it. But I have a friend who's a second year elementary math and ELA, I think. So don't get me wrong. I have had fantastic teachers, but I've seen what they go through. I know what they go through. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Well, that is, yeah, that's, I couldn't do it either, but you have let's just say you have the groundwork. If you ever wanted to go back and get your teaching license or whatever, you wouldn't have to do very much because you already have that groundwork. So you could just think about it that way. Because in the future, if your thoughts change or anything, you know what I mean. So Suzy, at the end of every episode, I ask my guests if they have any advice for those watching. It could be general life advice or any kind of like writing English advice. Any kind of advice you want to leave the viewers with. So,
well, if I could leave y'all with maybe just one piece of advice, it would be to always speak up for yourself, and most importantly, speak up for someone who can't.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you, Suzy, for being a guest on Spastic Chatter. I really enjoyed talking with you and hearing your perspective as on being a college student with a disability and as an English major, and it kind of brought back memories from my college days. I'm quite a bit older than you are, but I thought it's kind of nice to reminisce and everything. So I really enjoyed talking with you. And for those of you watching, if you ever want to be on an episode of Spastic Chatter, feel free to reach out to me wherever you see this video or listening to the podcast, and check back frequently for other episodes. And I was gonna say I'll see everyone later, but
well, thank you, Whitney, so much for having me. This was great.
No problem. Bye.